are here today with a coach from the Netherlands, Pervin. How are you today? Thank you for coming.
Hello, Seda. I'm fine, and thank you for having me. So nice to connect and talk about coaching internationally.
Yes.
So I'm doing great. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, you already gave an interview for the Turkish magazine. Thank you for that. And thank you for taking your time to give another one with me for the global one, which is for the Turkish readers. This is for the global readers. It's going to be a second time for you, but I'm sure you're going to do fine.
Second time, maybe it's a little bit better.
Yeah, no, maybe.
It's okay. It's okay. We practice a little bit, so no, it's okay.
Yeah. So tell us about how you become a coach. How you did you choose this profession?
Yeah. No. Well, it's a very process. I'm now a coach for 4 years now, so not very long, but I was working in HR in a corporate company here, insurance company here in Holland. And HR, when I was doing that, I talked with a lot of people about their personal development. At first about career development. And then I noticed that, our conversations were getting a little deeper. And then I have to send those people to coaches because I thought, well, maybe you need a coach to really work on this or that. And then I felt... I didn't like that I had to send them to a coach and every time. I want to maintain the conversation and do it myself and get those people develop, be part of their development. So that's one thing I noticed, and then I decided to go to a coaching school and to learn how to be a professional coach. So that started 5 years ago when I was employed there. And when I finished that education, I set up my own coaching practice, and I coached people on the side of my normal job. Mm-hmm. And last year I decided to go fully self-employed and take this coaching practice further and bigger. And I also, since then, I never stopped learning, because coaching is also learning a lot about yourself, and that's to help others again. So I recently, for example, finished also an education about family constellation. So that's a technique I use in my coaching practice. So now I'm a full-time coach. Also a trainer, and I do a little bit of HR, but I do that interim HR. So that's now what I do these days.
Yeah. Would you please tell us about more of your trainings? What kind of training schools in the Netherlands, how people can get trained as a coach?
Yeah, there are a lot of training schools in the Netherlands. There are a lot of courses, educations from 2 days to a couple of years. Mm-hmm. There are schools who are integrating coaching and therapy together. So those are the educations and the trainings who are usually are a little bit longer, like 4 years education. I personally followed a year education for professional coaching at the Academic of Psychodynamica, it is called. That's a big one. You will also have a couple of big names, like Phoenix is called. That's a coaching school with a lot of big trainings, but also like burnout coaches, or also shorter topics, like 2-3 months of training to become to get more expertise about some topics within the coaching. Mm-hmm. So there are too many to summarize right now, but there are many schools, and but there is a difference. There are some schools, they have they are certified as legitimate schools, but there are also a lot of courses which aren't certified. Mm-hmm. And it's not that the one is really better than the other, but one is recognized and the other is not. But a lot of people go either way. Some people use the education for themselves or in their profession, and other schools there really are to for coaches who want to be self-employed and have a practice, and they are focusing on that. So I had a year of that. Then after that, I had a year of systemic work and family constellation. This was a year of education, and I did some little work. It's not a workshop because there were 2 days. It's like a weekend of the expertise little topics. After that.
Well, that brings us to the recognition of the profession in the country. What is the status of coaching in the Netherlands?
Well, there are a lot of coaches in the Netherlands. The last interview I talked about, I believe, about 60,000 coaches, and now it's still increasing, and it's about 75,000 coaches who are registered themselves as a coach. But not all coaches are professionally certified. So there's a difference, because here in Holland, the coaching profession is a profession which is not legally recognized. So anyone can call themselves a coach. If I decided, for example, what you also see people who had a burnout themselves, who are coming out of a burnout and think, well, this is great, I want to help other people coming out of their burnout, can register themselves as a coach to help those people without any education.
Wow.
That's the situation. So there is a lot of urgency and a lot of people working on the professionally and legalize this profession to make it more transparent what a coach, which education a coach has, but also how do the coach work on their own profession. So there's a lot of talk about that, and it's a hot topic here in Netherlands to get that done. But it isn't up until now. It isn't. It's a free job. We say that in Holland. It's a free job to take. So that's also why there are so many coaches, because anyone can do it. They say.
So if they are not registered, how do you know that the numbers are 60,000 to 70,000? Like, do they?
Well, they register. We have the they call it here Kamer van Koophandel. I don't know the English word, but you have to register if you want to work for yourself or make money with your own business. You have to register yourself. So then we know, there are so many people who say they are working as a coach, and they have another how to call that, organization where there you have to register to be a legit registered, sorry, it's a hard word for me, registered coach. So there are different organizations where you can so it's the 75,000 is a number of those who say, well, I'm working as a coach aside of my job. Or
so it's a huge increase since last interview when you prepared your article for Turkish magazine. It's like 1.5 years ago. In 1.5 years, 10,000 people called themselves more, coaches. It's amazing. Wow. And I hear a lot of people also come to the UK from the Netherlands for getting coaching trainings. I thought, why don't they go to the coaching schools in the Netherlands? I don't know.
Well, maybe because the UK is more certified and more maybe because of there are many schools here, but sometimes it's hard to analyze which one is really good. So and they have I believe better training,
more global, maybe
international training. That can be. I don't know, but the coachings are increasing, but the need for coaching is also still increasing. Otherwise there's no need to become a coach. So people still have the need to work with a coach.
Yeah. So
So
what,
there's business still. It's
yeah, sure. And it's gonna increase probably from now
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Well, so what kind of niche areas are there in the Netherlands for coaches?
You mean the way they do things or the
Yeah, which
topics?
areas? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have different kind of coaches. You have also the different coaching techniques, like I said, the constellation systemic work technique, NLP, the neuro linguistic programming technique. It's very
Mhm.
common here. So you have that kind of techniques and coaches who are specialized in that technique. You also have coaches who have a more working area as a niche, like working with animals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so horse coaching, it's in English sounds a little bit strange, but it's a thing here. It's also very much used in leadership programs with groups. So then they use the horses, and how you lead a horse or how you get a horse contact with a horse. They use that dynamic to see how you are as a leader,
Wow.
because horses are very sensitive animals. So if they sense if you are safe to be with or not. And that's also what we people sense with each other, if we want to follow a leader or not.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's very interesting. It's very interesting to do that for that. So there are coaches who are horse coaching or use that technique. Or I learned also about people who do the same with dogs. How do you lead and how they follow you? Or so that's and well, here in Holland we are a country we like to walk and use the bike. So there are also coaches who call themselves walking coaches, and they use nature
Yeah.
as a metaphor for your coaching teams. And alongside you are walking together. So that's also very nice to do and very relaxing.
Yeah.
But they use if you walk somewhere and you come across a path and you go left or right, then they use that as a metaphor for where do you stand in your life now. So
Yeah.
they make that connection. So there are coaches like that, and many more. I now cannot. I maybe forget now, but yeah, that's kind of. And you have also the executive coaches who are really into the executive management.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of niches, and
But
it's the way also to here, because of the many coaches, you almost have to get a niche, because otherwise you are thrown over by the bulk of coaches.
so
Yeah,
many coaches, yeah. But
yeah,
using these tools is making it more than cognitive, to make it more real into the real life with these metaphors and everything. Especially with the horses, when you said, how they are sensitive, and then they know if it's safe to be with this leader, which bring my mind to the psychological safety in the work environment. It's a very
exactly,
important topic, yeah. And if
exactly.
you don't feel comfortable with your leader, then you don't work as your best.
Yeah,
Or you might even try to get away from this job, try to go to search for another job. So it's very important, and it
yeah,
is amazing how they find this, to working
yeah,
with horses.
yeah,
But I also liked your niche area, systemic work with the family constellations. I know
yeah,
your father is a Turkish and your mother is a Dutch person, so you're
yeah,
working with this kind of families.
yeah,
People. Would you
yeah,
like to tell us about the migration, the family constellation?
yeah, yeah.
You use it.
Yeah, that's a very fresh topic for me. So I'm just, I'm a starter about that, but I'm very passionate about that because, like you said, my father is Turkish, my mother is Dutch. So, and in the constellation, the basic of constellation, for the people who are less familiar with the technique, is to make invisible dynamic visible by putting people or people in the room and putting them towards each other, and you can see the dynamic emerging. And now what we here in Holland, there are a lot of Turkish people, or people with Turkish background, or a part of Turkish background like me. who came here from Turkey to the Netherlands. So they migrated. And when you migrate, there are three stages of migration. You are leaving your home country, and to get something better, because if all things are good, we as people don't want to leave. We stay. If everything is good, we stay. We tend to stay. So something is not good, and that's the reason you're leaving. And then you come in a like twilight zone, because you left, but you haven't arrived yet. So then you are in the twilight zone, and then you are arriving to the new country. And most people who came in the Netherlands, they are now they are the parents of most people. They came and they saw, well, this is hard in this new country, and they want to come back. They want to work here and eventually go back to their home country. But when they go back, they find that it's not the country they knew anymore when they left. So then they go back to Holland again, and what you see is this dynamic of migration from leaving, twilight zone, arriving, but leaving again. This restless feeling of always going and always, parents give that unconsciously most of the time to their children. So me, as a child from a father who migrated, I also had that restless feeling of starting new things and never really arriving or settling down. Always want to do things better, always want to do new things. So that's the dynamic I became conscious about within myself. And it is important to settle down, because then you feel more steady. And it's good to do new things, but you can become restless, and then it becomes a problem. So, well, what we are doing now is using the Turkish and the Dutch sides, putting them together in doing the constellations with I have I can call them friends now, people who are very specialized in this topic, and we are creating programs to look at this migration theme together, and how does this work in our daily lives when you have mixed cultures in your blood, and these mixed dynamics. And it's very nice and very good to do. Yeah.
And also, I would like to ask how to break this cycle, like this leaving, twilight, and arriving. If you are not aware of it, you always continue to do the same things, and your children continue to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, what are the
how do you stop that pattern? So let me say, the pattern becomes a problem when you feel like, hey, I cannot settle down, or I'm constantly working very hard, but I don't feel satisfied. Then it becomes a problem. So the first thing is to be aware of this dynamic. So if you feel restless and you if you do a little self-reflection, and you see like, well, I'm somebody who always go further the next step, but I don't feel satisfied enough, and you have parents with maybe a migration background, then it's interesting to look at this. And so become aware is first step, that maybe this is the pattern you got unconsciously from your family system, because we're talking about the family system. Well, and then for example, what I did is I recognized that, oh, I'm not settling down. So I'm constantly moving forward. So a practical example of that is that I didn't settle down in my home. So I didn't put pictures of me and my family. Some rooms I didn't make it like my taste, because in my mind I was busy with the next house, which must be better than this house. So then and that was a pattern. If I look back in my life, I did that every time. And there wasn't a house where I feel settled down. I settled down. So that's now what I'm been doing since then, is really settling down in this house, making it my taste, hanging the pictures, using the space really, so you can see that I live there. Because
Yeah.
beforehand, if you come to visit to my house, you didn't see if I live there.
Okay.
So that really helps me to settle down and bring it back in balance, because it's also good to get moving again, but not in the restless pace I did.
Yeah.
So, well, that's an example which helped me a lot to settle down and also, create a more feeling of, okay, I'm here, and I don't have to run all the time to get it. Yeah.
I think in today's world, with all this migration problem, like I don't see as a problem, it's a dynamic of the today's world. There are lots of needs in this niche area with the family constellation, working with migrated people with their families. Oh my God.
Yeah. And there's a really good school here about schools. There is a really good school here in the Netherlands. And I want to give a shout out to Hilbrand Westra. He is the founder of this team here. And he is learning also other coaches to how to work with these topics. So the migration, because you're right, everywhere people are migrating and finding themselves in their new country again. And also leaving your home country, that's also it's a process. It's a little bit like, you are leaving things. So there's an emotional process you need to go through, but you, mostly don't have the time, because when you are migrating, you are busy with the arriving and settling down there and building a life there. And so. Well, that's something. This is where I've been doing since the last interview. Recently.
From a very deep conversation, I'm coming back to a formal, kind of professional associations about coaching in the Netherlands. But tell us about.
There are a couple. The biggest one is the international one, the EMCC departments here in Holland. And in Holland, it's called NAPCO, the Dutch Order of the Coaching Profession. And that's the biggest one. But there are also ones for which are more, we have the no-lock, and that's the profession which the coaches who are busy with career development, specialized in career development. There's also a big one called steer, and that's about professions who are busy with the constellations, like guidance, the guidance of these kind of coaching topics. And you have a couple of more smaller coaching professions, but these three are the most common known here. No-lock, NOPCO, and steer are the biggest ones.
So are there any social projects and volunteer works carried out in the country?
Well, unfortunately, I remembered in the last interview, we talked about what the government was doing to help people develop themselves. And the Dutch government was giving, and I talk a little bit in the past time, because they are ending this project, and that's a pity, but they are giving now money to people who want to do an education to make themselves more viable, or have more chance of a job here. So if you want to educate yourself and make that and get the job easier, then the government is willing to give you the money for the education. And they are doing it now for 1.5 years. But they decided to end this project, and they are looking for other ways to help people educate themselves, but not in the money way like it is now. So it was very, I believe it's a very good project and nice thing that the government spends money on it. And there were a lot of people have used this this money. I myself also, I had also used it for talking English better. So How am I doing?
Very, very,
Oh,
very
thanks.
good.
So, well, that's a project. It's still going on, but it's ending now.
Mhm.
And well, another good project I want to point out is it's called YINK. It's an organization which works with younger people and children who live in a social environment which is not very good to get a job, or they well, they struggle.
Mhm.
So they use coaches from businesses or self-employed coaches voluntarily. You have to volunteer as a coach, and you can help those students or those children with career coaching and choices, life choices. So I did that myself. It's very good, a very wholesome thing to do, and also a little bit sad to do, because you see young children struggling, and you can do so much because, yeah, you're not their parents, but you can help them choose, make good life choices in their school career or working career. So
Mhm.
it's a good project to do.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, because of the war in Ukraine, and you see here that people who come here can get, it's more coaching in the terms of how do you find, how do you arrange your home here, or how do you use your money here. It's more practical coaching, but these are also projects
Is it more
going
like
on.
mentoring?
Yeah, it's more like mentoring. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's also something you see here. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you like to say about the future of coaching profession and the effects of the pandemic? What are the
Yeah.
trends?
Yeah, well, the effects of the pandemic, there are well, two things I would like to say about that. One thing is that what we saw, and what I personally also saw, is that because of the pandemic, people were thrown in their homes, and they didn't have the nice conversations with their colleagues, like at the coffee corner anymore.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that was the reason they worked there. So they were thrown back to the essence of their jobs, and they didn't like the jobs anymore. Yeah? If it's like this, then I don't know what to do. So there was a little increase in need for coaching, about career coaching, since
Yeah.
the pandemic. I believe it's settling down more, maybe, because we are now all back to the reality, back to normal, except for the hybrid working. That's still here a thing. So that hybrid working is becoming has become common now.
Which is good, I think.
Which is good before the work-life balance need for coaching, because that was one of the hot topics in here in Holland, the work-life balance. And yeah, well, the hybrid working had a positive effect on that.
Yeah.
And the hybrid coaching is also, well, still here. There were, during the pandemic, coaches who absolutely didn't coach online because of principal reasons, for their, they believe that's not a way to coach. Until coaches who always coached online because there are international coaches, and it was all they did. And now you can see that hybrid coaching, so sessions in real life, and then some sessions online. Well, you see that becoming more normal, and that there are more research done on the difference between online coaching, or how and you need to how you do that good, and live coaching. So that's also a thing I see after the pandemic. Yeah, and the trends. Yeah, I recently through the NOPCO, they arranged a whole day about innovation. So you can see how Chat GPT or AI is coming also in the profession of coaching. I saw there at the event virtual reality glasses, which can give you the experience that we are live in the room. So yeah, what does that mean for coaching, and coaching at a distance or something like that? It's very interesting. And well, I used Chat GPT not long ago for well, I asked ChatGPT to work out a program for a group coaching session where they can understand each other more and work better together. And ChatGPT gave me a whole program with steps to do and what to work on. So that was very surprising. And yeah, and also, well, I had a coachee, and we are working on more self-love. So I asked ChatGPT, do you have a meditation for me, which improves self-love?
Yeah.
And ChatGPT came with a whole steps, like how to meditate, how to work on these topics with the coachee. So it's very yes, is scary and useful at the same time. So you see that is coming. One thing we are doing here in Holland is also make the coaching profession more scientific by putting data and using the coaching monitor. It's a questionnaire. I use that by all my clients at the beginning and at the end of the coaching, so they can monitor anonymously what the effect of coaching is. So if we put more and more data, then the effectiveness of coaching become more scientifically proved. So that's also something, a trend here.
Wow. Yeah, it is a very interesting to see how ChatGPT works so fast.
Yeah.
You have to study these things like for long hours, but it can give you answers for like in seconds.
Yeah, it's also a little insulting almost. So
but we know that it all comes from the human knowledge, so it's okay.
Yeah, and you have to be you have to maintain your critical point of view, so perspective on it. So the tip I got from those that seminar was you think first on your own, and then ask GPT to
Yes. It
elaborate.
changes the answers exactly.
And,
If you ask in a certain way, the answer comes that way. If you specify the needs, then the answer comes.
Yeah, they're so different.
That's
So
it,
so think first and then
it's
use
very
it as a
useful, I
tool.
think. I'm not scared of it. I'm fond of it already.
Yeah, it's very useful. So
So my final
we'll
question.
see what it brings to the coaching profession.
For my final question, what do you think the coaches around the world can help each other? How can they help each other?
Now the first thing what comes to mind is to connect. So first, if we connect more, we can help each other by like we talked about the migration. That's a global thing, or the pandemic. It's a global thing. So you can learn from each other and hear the best practices, or hear about new techniques or topics. And if we connect more, like as coaches, then we can use the themes better and become more global also in our approach of coaching, which we are already with our social media and all the wired we are. So why not within the coaching? So but we have to find each other first, I believe, and connect more. That's what I would say. It's something what you would say also, or
well, helping each other, sharing the information, knowledge you already know, not hiding it from other coaches. It will serve for the increase or for the improve of the coaching profession. Rather, it would just make it not worthwhile. When you help each other, when you know the new topics, new trends, when you share your knowledge, it makes it even better, and the energy, the positive outcome coming from it affects like a ripple effect, from one drop to an ocean, like a butterfly effect. I like it to share, to I don't know, talk about all these things. That's why we get with this Coach Magazine Global online English, and the YouTube channel, the coachmagazine.com website with the articles and the interviews around the world, all by, reaching out to each other to learn from each other. And we want there are no one left on earth not encountered with coaching, because it's a very good need. Everyone should benefit from it. So why not we reach out to every person on earth, like from South America to North America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, all these, we are all the same in the same on the same earth, we are after the same things.
At the end, we are all people having the basic needs of belonging and like that. So you have these common topics, and it would be very nice if everyone have access to coaching or these topics. And also, as a coach, is nice because it can be a very lonely job sometimes, because you are alone with the client or the coachee in a room. So being part of a community, or where you can share the knowledge and where you can be transparent, and also share maybe your difficulties as a coach and problems, and I find very nice to talk about. But that's very good to do.
So it's a component of self-compassion, there is common humanity. And when you connect more with other coaches around the world, you see everyone has the same problems, different kind of solutions, but at the end,
different kind of ways.
Same thing.
In the core it's the same. We are all the same, and that's nice to elaborate on.
Thank you so much for your time, Pervin, once again, to be with us.
Yes, thank you really for having me. Yes.
And for the Coach Magazine Global readers and audience, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to the website, thecoachmagazine.com, for the new upcoming articles and the issues. We're gonna publish another one at the end of July. We're recording this interview in July, at the beginning of July. We'll see when it's gonna be out, because of the line,
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your